You're lying in bed. It's 2:47 in the morning. Tomorrow is a big day, or maybe it's just a Tuesday, and your brain is doing that thing again. It's replaying a conversation you had 6 years ago with someone you'll probably never see again, analyzing every possible interpretation of a text message you received 3 hours ago, and simultaneously running 17 different simulations of how tomorrow's meeting could go wrong. And somewhere in the middle of all that mental chaos, a small, tired voice inside you whispers, "What is wrong with me?" I'm here to answer that question. And the answer is absolutely nothing. You are not broken. You are not dramatic. You are not too sensitive or too anxious or too much. You are running the most sophisticated cognitive software on the planet, and the only problem is that nobody gave you the manual. Welcome back to Psychology Simplified. Today we are talking about overthinkers, who they really are, why their brains work the way they do, and why science is increasingly suggesting that what society calls a flaw might actually be one of the most powerful cognitive setups a human being can have. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you are going to see your own mind in a completely different light. Let's start here. The word overthinker is almost always used as an insult. Someone tells you to just relax, to stop overthinking it, to turn your brain off for once. And you nod politely and smile, while internally your brain is already analyzing the social dynamics of why they said that, whether they meant it as criticism, and what the optimal response would have been if you'd had 3 more seconds to think. Which, by the way, is kind of proving the point. But here is what nobody tells you. Your brain is not malfunctioning. It is doing exactly what it was designed to do, just at a much higher resolution than average. Think of it this way. Most people are watching life in standard definition. They see the scene, they process it, they move on. You are watching the same scene in 8K IMAX with surround sound, slow motion replay, and a built-in director's commentary track running at all times. Is that exhausting? Absolutely. Is it also extraordinary? Yes. And here is the neuroscience to prove it. Number 1. Overthinkers have hyperactive default mode networks, and that is actually a sign of a more connected brain. The default mode network is the part of your brain that activates when you are not focused on a specific external task. It is essentially your brain's background processing system, the mode that runs when you are daydreaming, reflecting, imagining, and yes, overthinking. Research published in journals, including Nature Neuroscience, has consistently shown that individuals with highly active default mode networks demonstrate stronger capacities for creative thinking, future planning, perspective taking, and complex problem solving. In other words, the same neural architecture that keeps you up at night replaying awkward conversations is the same architecture that allows you to anticipate problems before they happen, understand other people's emotions with unusual depth, and generate ideas that genuinely surprise people. Your brain is not broken. It is just never fully off the clock. And while that can feel like a curse, it is also the reason that some of history's most creative, visionary, and intellectually powerful people describe themselves as chronic overthinkers. Number 2. Your overthinking is evolutionarily ancient, and it kept your ancestors alive. Let's go back. Way back. Imagine a prehistoric environment where one moment of relaxed, non-analytical thinking could get you killed. The humans who survived were not the laid-back ones who assumed everything was fine. They were the ones who heard a sound in the bushes and immediately ran 17 threat assessments. They were the ones who noticed subtle changes in other people's facial expressions and immediately wondered what it meant for their social standing in the group. They were the ones who replayed yesterday's near miss while lying in the cave at night so that they could avoid it tomorrow. Those people survived. They had children. You are their descendant. The overthinking brain is not a glitch that appeared in modern times. It is a finely tuned threat detection and scenario planning system that evolution spent hundreds of thousands of years building. The only issue is that it is now running in an environment of emails and traffic and Instagram comments instead of predators and tribal conflict. The hardware is ancient. The software is ancient. The context is just brand new. Number 3. Overthinkers process emotional information at a neurological depth that most people simply cannot access. There is a concept in psychology called sensory processing sensitivity, first described by researcher Elaine Aron, and it affects roughly 15 to 20% of the population. People with high sensory processing sensitivity do not just notice more information. They process it more deeply at a neurological level. Brain imaging studies have shown that highly sensitive people show significantly greater activation in areas of the brain associated with awareness, empathy, and integration of complex information. What does that mean in plain language? It means that when you walk into a room, you are not just seeing the room. You are reading the emotional temperature of every person in it. You are noticing the slight tension in someone's jaw, the way a conversation shifted when you walked in, the unspoken thing that nobody is saying but everybody is feeling. Most people completely miss this. You cannot. And yes, that makes social situations significantly more exhausting. But it also makes you the person people come to when they need someone who actually listens, actually understands, and actually sees them. That is not a burden. That is a gift that most people have to consciously work for years to develop, and you were born with it installed by default. Number 4. The overthinking brain has a fundamentally different relationship with dopamine, an understanding that changes everything. Here is something fascinating. Research suggests that overthinkers and highly analytical individuals often have nervous systems that are wired to seek deeper levels of meaning and stimulation rather than quick, surface-level rewards. While a lot of people can get a full dopamine hit from a simple, easy interaction or a mindless distraction, your brain often requires more depth, more substance, more genuine connection, more intellectual engagement. This is why small talk feels physically painful to so many overthinkers. It is not because you are antisocial. It is because your neurological reward system is genuinely not satisfied by surface-level exchanges. It is like having a high-performance engine and someone keeps giving you low-grade fuel. The engine works fine. The fuel is just the wrong grade. This also explains why overthinkers tend to form unusually deep, intense, and loyal relationships with the few people they truly connect with. When you finally meet someone who can match your depth, your brain lights up in a way that average stimulation seekers simply never experience. You are not hard to connect with. You are selective in the best possible way. Number 5. Overthinking, when redirected, is indistinguishable from genius-level strategic thinking. This one is important, so stay with me. The cognitive processes involved in overthinking, holding multiple scenarios in mind simultaneously, stress-testing ideas for weaknesses, anticipating unintended consequences, running probabilistic models of outcomes, are functionally identical to the cognitive processes used by chess grandmasters, elite strategists, top-tier surgeons, and high-level entrepreneurs. The difference is not the process. The difference is the direction. When an overthinker aims that mental machinery at a genuine problem, a business challenge, a creative project, a complex interpersonal situation that needs a real solution, the output is extraordinary. The issue is that for most overthinkers, nobody ever taught them how to intentionally direct that processing power. Nobody said, "Hey, that thing your brain does automatically? That is actually a skill. Let us train it." Instead, they were just told to stop, to calm down, to think less, which is a bit like telling a professional athlete to stop being so fast. The capacity is not the problem. The direction is everything. So where does this leave you? If you are someone who replays conversations, who anticipates problems 3 steps before they arrive, who feels the emotional undercurrents of every room you walk into, who cannot turn your mind off even when you desperately want to, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not malfunctioning. You have a nervous system and a cognitive architecture that is more sensitive, more connected, and more deeply calibrated than average. That comes with real costs. It comes with exhaustion and anxiety and the particular loneliness of feeling like the only person in the room who is fully awake to what is actually happening. I am not going to pretend otherwise. But it also comes with capacities that most people spend their entire lives trying to develop: depth of thought, emotional intelligence, creative connection-making, strategic anticipation, and an almost uncanny ability to understand other human beings. The goal is not to become someone who thinks less. The goal is to become someone who has learned to work with the extraordinary machine they were given, to channel it, to rest it, to name it at the things that actually matter, and to stop apologizing to a world-running standard definition for the fact that you were born seeing everything in IMAX. You are not broken. You never were. You were just running software most people cannot even install. Now I want to hear from you. Are you Team Overthinker? Drop it in the comments right now. Tell me one thing your overthinking brain has actually helped you with. I genuinely want to read every single one. If this video made you feel even slightly more understood, please subscribe because that is exactly what this channel is here for. We do this every week, breaking down the psychology behind the ways your brain works so you can stop fighting yourself and start actually using what you have got. And there is another video on the screen right now that I think is going to hit you just as hard. Go watch it. Your brain is already thinking about it.